everyone, and welcome to card number 4 of my Mother's Day series. So I'm using this little Tiddly Inks image called Lil Artist from Stamping Bella. Inked her up with Memento Tuxedo Black and then stamped her into the CC Designs, the Copic Quality 110 pound cardstock. As always, starting with the skin, so I did E50, then layered in a little bit of the E01, and then finally adding a tiny bit of E13. And then once I've got that down, blending that out with the E01 again, getting it blended, and then going in with the E50, my lightest again, and blending all of that together. So once I've got that done, I add a little bit of pink to her cheeks, so that's the R20. Hardly any blending needed at all because the ink is still wet, so it just kind of blends itself. And then I'm going onto her hair. Super simple, I'm only using 2 colors. I'm just using E25, just laying that down, and then adding a little bit of E27. No blending at all. It's just a really simple image, so it doesn't need a whole lot of work and detail and all that stuff. So once I've got that, I'm going to go on and start with her clothes. So I'm using some of the new purples that came out not too long ago. So this was the V22, and then I went in with V25, and then finally V28. And then I blend the darkest with the V25 again. Once I've got that blended, I go back in with my lightest, which was the V22, and blend everything together. So once I've got that, I want her little apron and her hat to be white. So I just took the BG quadruple 0, just lightly put that kind of around some of the lower edges of everything that I wanted to look white, and then use my 0, the colorless blender, just to lightly blend that out. And that was all there was to it. And then for shirt and shoes, I just wanted them to be gray. So I started with the C1, then added in the C3, just like so, and then finally went in with C5, my darkest shade, and then blended the C5 with the C3. And once I've got those blended together, I'm going to go in with my lightest, which was the C1, and blend everything together. And then while I'm at that, push out the purple that went over the lines in a couple spots. So super simple, nothing too fancy at all. And then I'm going to go in and color the brushes. So for the handles, I went E41 and then E43, and then blended it with E41 again. And then the ferrules was just E84, just laid that down, left as is. And then the brush themselves was the E40, just really lightly. Then for the little heart on her paper, I did R24 and then R17. And then I added a bit more of that R17 to the brush. So once I've got the image colored, I'm going to cut it out with my detail scissors. And I just thought I'd show this a bit. I do have a video on my channel of actually cutting around a stamped image. But it's just a matter of keeping your hands steady, and I move the cardstock more than I move the scissors. And I cut from closer to the inside of the scissors, and I don't use the tips. So it just takes practice. But yeah, so once I've got that trimmed out, the card itself, super simple. No pattern paper, no layers, really simple. I had an idea in my head, so what I did was take a few Copics in the rainbow configuration. And you don't need Copic swords, you can use any markers for this. It doesn't have to be Copic, so I'm not doing any blending. And just started red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Scribble it on, just like so. And then for the sentiment I chose, I just chose the mom sentiment from my all women stamp set, and then inked it up with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then stamped that on there. So this little Tiddly Inks image now comes with a couple of sentiments, one of which is "You Color My World," which would have been perfect for this card, but when I originally purchased this stamp years and years ago, it didn't come with any sentiments, so that's why I'm just going to use the mom from my all women set, and then I'm going to use Happy Mother's Day from the same set, and then what a person could do is just write on the inside with whatever they want to write and add, "You Color My World." So while I was doing this, I ended up wrecking the front of the card by getting it into my black ink pad because I wasn't paying attention. So rather than editing that out of the video, what I did was I just trimmed off the card front, trimmed off the part that I wrecked, cut a new card base from white cardstock, redid the inside because it only took a an extra minute or two, restamp the sentiment, and I'm going to adhere the original card front to the new card. So that fixed my mistake. I can use the scraps from the old card, cut out the white parts, and just reuse that for a different project. So I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, and this is one way to fix them. So as always, there'll be links to everything in the description box below, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!